Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we talk to the brand leaders about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer channel and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Jay Hubbs. He's the Vice President of Advertising, Marketing, Innovation, and Analytics at Best Western Hotels and Resorts. How are you today?
I'm great. Good to be here. Thanks, Mark.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. First off, when we start these, we like to get a little information about the people we're talking to more from a personal perspective. Would love to know, all that you do at Best Western Hotels and Resorts, maybe a little bit of your history and a fun fact, a passion you may have.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, good afternoon, good morning. Nice to be with you, Mark, and with everybody. I've been with Best Western now about 6 months, and while I don't think I have the longest title in the history of the company or elsewhere, I've got a lot under my purview. So I head up all of our digital marketing and advertising, and then I'm also the leader for our loyalty program, Best Western Rewards. So a pretty broad swath on how we promote Best Western to our customer base, whether it's digitally or through offline channels and through our loyalty program. So it's great. I really like working with Dorothy Dowling and the leadership at Best Western, and excited to join this brand and take it to new heights. So our company is based in Phoenix, Arizona, but I'm actually a Denver native, and we moved to Dallas about 7 years ago. So right before we got on, Mark and I were joining our passion for the Denver Broncos football team. So go Broncos.
Always.
As a Colorado native, I'm always pulling for them and other Colorado teams. I've done a lot in my career. Before this, I worked at a management company based here in Dallas called Remington Hotels and headed up digital marketing and e-commerce for them, and then took a role in heading up commercial services. Before that, a couple different stints, including a few years at Expedia, where I oversaw our Hotwire partner services team under the Expedia umbrella. Other stints with Starwood Hotels, out of the industry a little bit, building .com businesses back when .com 1.0, which dates me pretty readily, if you will. And before that, like working in hotels. So I have an undergrad degree from Cornell's Hotel School and an MBA from Wharton. So I've done a lot in my career. But excited to be here with Best Western. Fun fact about me, other than when I'm trying to chase my twin boys around or trying to keep up with them, I'd say I like to travel. I wish I had time to do more of it. But during the pandemic, I had a goal to check off all 50 states. So I got my 50th state in last May, which was Arkansas, not too far here from Texas. And then I've actually been to every continent except for Antarctica. So that is on my bucket list to get that crossed off sometime soon.
Well, that's a lot of travel. Quite envious of you. I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have 4 kids that I take all over the country on different sporting endeavors.
That's right, exactly.
To have the time and, more importantly, the money to be able to do that.
Right.
Good.
Yes. That combination is definitely tough.
It is that. So can you give us a brief history of Best Western? Obviously a worldwide hotel chain, made some nice strategic acquisitions the last couple of years, kind of what you guys do, how you do it, and it would be great to know a little more.
Sure thing, Mark. This is actually a unique year, 2021, pandemic notwithstanding, but Best Western is celebrating its 75th anniversary. As I mentioned, we are headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are a privately owned hotel brand within the Best Western or BWH Hotel Group. We currently have 18 brands and approximately 4,700 hotels across over 100 countries and territories worldwide. The BWH Hotel Group is focused on meeting the needs of owners and our guests. I'll give you a quick rundown of our brands, but I admit I have to go to my cheat sheet here. Our 18 brands include Best Western Plus, Best Western Premier, Executive Residency by Best Western, our boutique brands Vibe, Glow, Aiden, Sadie, as well as the BW Premier Collection and the BW Signature Collection soft brands. And through, as you mentioned, acquisition a couple years ago, we added World Hotels, which includes the World Hotels Luxury, World Hotels Elite, World Hotels Distinctive, and World Hotels Crafted collections. And then completing our portfolio is the SureStay group, which includes SureStay, SureStay Plus, SureStay Collection, and SureStay Studio franchises.
Okay, interesting. Your award submission. Can you tell us a bit more about your award submission and what you guys plan to share during your award presentation?
Absolutely, yeah. So Best Western overall is a very leisure-focused brand, and obviously smaller hotels in a lot of leisure secondary and tertiary markets. And as you probably know, and a lot of people out there, travel changed a lot in the last 18 months. With people wanting to do road trips like we did to Arkansas and other sort of local trips, and also staying at smaller hotels rather than bigger properties. So fundamentally, summer is the busiest season for our hotels. And to maximize the engagement of our most loyal guests and to also entice new members, we create a unique brand-wide promotion in North America, which allowed our more than 47 million members to choose their own rewarding adventure. So Best Western set out to capture the share of wallets of those looking to escape for a vacation during the summer 2021 months. And so at the conference next month or later this month, we'll go through the campaign design and execution, and hopefully attendees will take with them the idea to test and learn with their members to see what resonates, and the message of don't be afraid to try something new. You might just surprise yourself with results.
Excellent. Best Western, their Tanks a Lot campaign, a very unique creative campaign, provided reward members with the ability to earn $25, I think, Best Western reward travel cards. Tell us how you came up with the promotion and how did the members react to the promotion?
Yeah, so we branded it a couple of different ways. Externally to the market, it was our See You Soon campaign, and that launched in May of 2021, and it was the national campaign where BWR members could earn up to $100 in Best Western travel cards during their summer travels. One $20 gift card awarded for each night of their stay at a Best Western branded hotel with a limit of 5 cards. And this incentive was designed to encourage new guests to join the program, as well as drive longer and return stays from existing members. But what we did for this campaign as an extra layer, which we named Choose Your Own Adventure internally, our most loyal members were provided the ability to choose how they would like to be rewarded a week before the launch of the brand-wide promotion via email. And so during this registration process, this group of members could choose if they wanted to receive the standard offer of the $20 gift cards up to $100, or receive 5,000 BWR points for each night up to 15,000 points. So what we did with this promotion is we were able to provide value options for our members to receive promotional points or the travel cards. And this allowed us to remain competitive in our promotional offerings during those peak travel months. The other aspect of this campaign allowed us to analyze the earning preferences of our membership base while remaining competitive with both options. So we feel that we can now, or we do, remain competitive year round by being the only brand where points never expire, which we regularly hear is a strong benefit from our most loyal members.
Absolutely. We always like to talk to those that we speak with and get their definition of certain terms with regard to customer loyalty. And the most important one is customer loyalty itself. So what does customer loyalty mean to you and to Best Western?
Sure. I will say for us, having a strong promotional offer provides us the ability to re-engage our existing members, many of whom put their travel plans on hold during the pandemic, and to retain our frequent travelers and build our award-winning loyalty program by acquiring new members into the program. Our campaign's strong performance is due in part to the intentional targeting efforts that we did through the advertising creative as well as the offline creative. And one thing that we did, Mark, is we created specific traveler cohorts. We labeled them ready, raring, and reticent. And in an effort to market to these targeted traveler segments during our summer promotion, we also produced versions of our TV ads to feature the varying comfort levels of each of these travelers. And these ads featured guests with and without masks, and they were intentionally marketed to designated regions according to their current mask guidelines and featured specific messaging to empathize with the traveler.
Okay, great. When you look at your loyalty program, I know you guys continue to add features, functionalities, keep it as cutting edge as you possibly can. What do you think is working well with your loyalty program? Can you provide maybe 2 or 3 examples you think that your loyalty program is doing well for you?
Absolutely. As we know, the last 18 months has been a seismic shift in most industries. And of course, travel was very significantly impacted. I'm very proud to say, though, that despite these challenges, we had a banner year in 2021, or banner summer, I should say. We eclipsed 2019 numbers for our summer promotion. We set all-time records in email revenue generated. We grew our enrollment base as well as our insider member base, which is our program to incentivize hotel team staff to enroll new BW members. And overall, Mark, we're seeing more bookings through bestwestern.com than ever before.
That's awesome. And I think it's great to hear, because customers were changing, their patterns were changing, right? They may be driving a lot more, and being able to create that engagement is huge. And also, I think you addressed the big challenge with franchisees potentially is getting that frontline person to engage, right? Especially if they came from an Expedia or another booking entity, getting them converted to your loyalty program, getting engaged is huge. And to hear that great increase you had in that frontline employee engagement is huge, because obviously that'll have reciprocal impacts in your customer loyalty program down the road.
And that's another thing that we're going to talk about at the conference later this month is our insider program. So I'm excited to share that with people.
Great. How has your customer experience strategy evolved beyond just a focus on transactions? And what are other methods you use to engage your audience?
Yeah, I think we're doing a lot of different things. And honestly, Mark, this has been an opportunity to, as Dorothy Dowling would say, not return, but reset the expectations on what we need to do as a brand and how we connect with our loyal members. So one thing that we're working through now is reinventing our communication strategy, focusing on each phase of the customer lifecycle: acquisition, activation, growth, and reactivation. So we are designing specific tailored messages to each phase to keep members more engaged. And what we're also embarking upon is recognizing the search behavior of our members to deliver more relevant content through social, through over-the-top TV, and other channels to drive better engagement with our brand.
Okay, awesome. One challenge we hear from Loyalty360, and Best Western's a member of Loyalty360 as well. We have small meetings with our members, usually once a week, sometimes twice a week. And we talk about different facets of customer loyalty. And technology, as you know, is a huge challenge. The technology landscape is growing pretty rapidly. Technology may or may not do what it says it's supposed to do. But when you get to personalization, some things you guys are doing so well, you have to have that right technology stack. So what are some of the challenges you see with regard to technology and getting it right? And how is Best Western working to address these challenges?
That's a great question, because that's something else that we're working on as well. I would say, fundamentally for us, one of the challenges is prioritizing those data integrations and obviously resource allocation. One thing that we're looking at from a reset standpoint is seeing what projects need to be at the top of the queue and how we prioritize that, especially with the lens of where customers are booking now. We still have actually a pretty strong CRO component of our booking, but fundamentally, pushing more through our website, pushing through our BW to go app, et cetera. Those are all elements that we are really focusing on now, because to your point on technology, making sure that we can stitch those data pieces together. Right now, a lot of that data lives in silos and doesn't work together. So we have an opportunity now to create campaigns to deliver real-time and omnichannel messaging targeted to those specific audiences, and ideally down to a one-to-one level. But that all takes technology integration that we're currently working on.
Absolutely. Personalization, you talked about that a little bit already. You seem to be doing some very unique things and measurable programs as well. What are the challenges or potentially even the opportunities you see for personalization?
Yeah, I think fundamentally the personalization piece really starts with the data and getting that right. Again, we have data in a number of different silos. We have a number of different partners, internal and external. and finding the right way of how we're going to stitch those together to generate unique data identifiers so that we can deliver a more personalized message. That's something that we're working on now. And that certainly leads us to an opportunity where we're, again, able to deliver real-time campaigns, whether it's through our email campaigns or through our online campaigns, because that's something that I'm hyper focused on, making sure that we are not spending money where we can spend it more effectively somewhere else. So there's, I think, a lot of opportunity there with regards to taking the data personalization piece and finding the right technologies that we need to use to employ it. Okay,
great. When you look at partnerships, partnerships are very important in hotel programs, from a reward redemption, from a potentially an activation perspective on a brand side. How has Best Western traditionally approached partnerships with other brands, and how do you think that'll look going forward with privacy concerns changing? Maybe what do you see for partnerships going forward?
That's a great question. I mean, we typically looked at them in a very symbiotic way and identifying partners that are a very good fit for our brand. We are very strong partners with AAA and AARP. We obviously have a number of airline partners, as well as MasterCard offerings through MBNA and First National Bank of Omaha. We're regularly trying to figure out how we can work better together with these partners. And also, now that we're experiencing recovery, identifying new partners that we should work with. I think, Mark, your question about privacy is certainly very poignant. I know that there are opportunities to use clean rooms to share data and scrub that and be able to push data to both partners that they can leverage effectively. And I think that's an area that we're absolutely going to be investing in the coming years.
Okay, great. When you look at the customers and how they're changing, you talked about that a little bit earlier. The campaign that you had, the creative campaign over the last summer, was very effective in driving that behavior. Thanks a lot. But how do you see customers changing holistically with travel, and how do you see that going forward?
Well, I think so. There's two components there: the online and the offline. Offline, I think customer expectations have definitely changed quite a bit. And so I was at a couple conferences this week here in Dallas, High Tech and HSMI conferences. And one thing we talked about, you have different customers that fundamentally, some of them want housekeeping every day, and some now are okay. They're go in the hotel room, put the do not disturb on the whole time anyway, right? So really figure out how we understand and how we can centralize that preference. Because fundamentally, it's better for us if we deliver the right experience to the customer from a housekeeping standpoint, or breakfast, or arrival, or whatever. I think on the online side, there are continually higher expectations around individualized interactions and communication. Again, have the same sort of thing as you do offline. Many guests are okay with very targeted campaigns, right? And others are not. And we want to make sure we are reaching them effectively. That is a change that we as marketers, especially loyalty marketers, are having to adapt to on a regular basis, recognizing where's the point where so much is too much for some customers, and others will just consume that kind of content and continually re-engage with your brand.
Okay, great. What KPIs do you and your team look at to measure the success of your customer loyalty, customer experience efforts?
There's some basic ones, obviously, revenue contribution and revenue through various channels. We do look at NPS, Net Promoter Scores. Obviously, our loyal members and our elite loyal members are higher than your average guest on NPS, which is great. We're always looking at what that second stay and how I get customers from the activation state after their second stay into the growth phase of 3 stays or more. And through that, certainly looking at how we can reduce churn and what that churn rate is. So those are probably the 5 things that we're most focused on.
Okay. And what do you think the next big thing for customer loyalty is for you and your team?
I would say overall improving our brand online experience and giving it a more seamless way to engage with our brand, regardless of the channel. We do a lot of great things online and through our Best Western To Go app. But what we've seen, one of our partners likes to say that we've seen more change in the last 18 months or 24 months than we did in the previous 10 years online, with people being a lot more focused on their devices and being online than ever before. So we have to follow that, even though we have a lot of members and a lot of guests that still just hop in the car or they're driving around and they'll stop. But I want to make sure that I'm reaching them online as effectively as possible. So that is, for us, really the big thing that we have to focus on as a brand.
Okay, great. When you look at the competitive set, it's evolving with Airbnb and VRBO, or I think it's Verbo. I call it VRBO.
Yeah, we'll call it Verbo now, I guess.
Yeah. How do you think your competitive set may be changing? But how are you different than your competitors? You seem to have just a laser focus on the customers and also the employees, which is also great because you do have those two sets of the franchisee and the end customer. But how do you think you're different than your competitive set? Do you see similar efforts from a customer loyalty perspective?
Yeah, Mark, I'll say that one hallmark of the Best Western brand is that we offer unique hotels that are often not as cookie cutter as other standard franchised hotels in our space. And that's not meant to disparage our competitors in any way, but fundamentally, people like the uniqueness that they see at Best Western hotels. Our loyal guests love our properties and give us, again, very high NPS scores. And we also offer multiple promotional offers throughout the year that, again, speak to a leisure customer, as well as those point junkies. So we're keen on being able to tailor our messages to both of those segments.
Okay, excellent. And last question I have is, what can Loyalty360 do to help you and your team in your customer loyalty journey?
That's great, Mark, because we're always looking to benchmark our efforts against companies that have implemented similar programs, as well as help us look across industries to learn best practices in other sectors. And I believe that will assist us to continually improve our offering to our loyal members, as well as our hotel owners.
Okay, great. Jay, it was great speaking with you. Great getting to know you. Good to know that you're a Bronco fan as well. Look forward to seeing you. Heck yeah.
And U.S. national team as well, right?
Yes, that'd be true as well.
Got some big matches coming up.
That lots of good things coming up, and looking forward to seeing you in person a couple times for next month. So thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to join us back again for another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series.